My angel? Angel
Mom
and
Wizard.
Wiz? I'm sorry. Right, she's the angel. I'm, the other one. And we still... Oh, this is chemo week 16. Only 3 weeks to go. Yay! And we are still on our best behavior because Angel's mom is still here. And, and we've been trying to... We didn't go near any politics last week. We was really, But, so I don't know where we're going this week. We're going to see. We have a new sound system, which I'm trying not to look at every single time. And we're going to begin with where we left off on the Great Green Debate. Okay, and what does that mean?
It's not really a debate, though.
Oh, and one thing I got to tell you. This is our special 4th of July show. So, 2 things. Maybe 3, but 2 to begin with. Don't be foolish with fireworks, okay? Fireworks can do bad things. You can get really hurt. I'm not even going to tell you the stories. You don't need to hear the stories because they're horrible. Use your head when you're playing with fireworks. Best of all, if you don't have a place to do them or you're not going to do them, go down to a beach or wherever it is they show them in your area and go see the fireworks. You don't really have to explode them yourself, and everything. I think all the money you could save, but be that as it may. But I've done it too. I've gone out and I got those things and boom.
I know a guy that used to shoot bottle rockets out of his butt crack.
Thanks for sharing. Brought our show to a really new level today.
Until he singed his butt and he couldn't sit for a week.
Good. That's really good. That's what you don't do. Don't do something as stupid as that because it shows a real deficiency in the mental area. The little gray cells are not functioning. Okay? Very good.
It was great.
So this week's show, because I only have one song that really has a lot of fireworks in it, you're going to see the modified version of Disney Dreams. This is, many years ago, the Disney company gave me about 4 hours of videotape. Just, that doesn't happen. Okay, just so you know that. They gave me 4 hours of videotape and they said, here, Wiz, do what you want with it. And one of the things we did was a music video called Disney Dreams. And it talks about the fact that when many people come to this country, they go to Disney World. Now, the international Disney parks are a new thing, relatively new thing. I've been going there since they opened and for 40 years now. But for a long time, there was Disneyland or Walt Disney World. And many people that come from other countries, when they come to Disneyland, Disney World, they see that as America. That's America to them. And fortunately for us, Walt did a great job of representing America and how it works and its functions and everything else. And so the song talks about that and about how America really is a product of Disney Dreams because it was built by other people who had dreams. Okay, so that's this week's song. And it has a lot of fireworks in it, so that's why I'm using it. Okay. I just wanted to say that. And this is the modified version where I put pixie dust on Walt's wand.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, really, really. Okay. Okay, so now last week...
we were talking about...
green stuff.
Diapers.
Yes. Oh, that's right. That's where we left off. We'll do diapers first just so we can bring you back into the fold so you can remember.
Well, here's...
Okay,
my mom used to wash my diapers when I was little. We had cloth diapers.
I'm sure I did too.
Yeah. But I'm only 31.
Yeah, so what are you saying? They had leaves when I was young?
No. What I'm saying is that was right around the time when they started to come out with...
oh, yes, the disposables.
The disposable diapers. But my parents, from what my mother tells me...
right.
I don't remember much. We used cloth diapers, and they made their own baby food. Am I right in saying that, Mom?
Yeah,
she pure. And then they came out with canned baby food when my sister came out, and then that was the end of it.
When your sister came out, very well put.
Yeah.
Okay, but now, and it's funny too. When it comes to something like disposable diapers, a great innovation, much easier for the parents and everything else, but then they went like full tilt the other way. And everything's disposable now, which puts us in that position. And the saddest part about this? The saddest part about this is that there's a great opportunity to turn all that garbage into energy by burning it and processing and using it as fuel to run the turbines, everything else. You know how many places do it? You don't even want to know.
My friend her son is really allergic to cloth, or not to cloth, to the disposable diapers.
Mm-hmm.
And so she went and she got these cloth diapers, and they're not how they used to be. They're actually they're
shaped.
They're more like underpants.
Right.
And they sometimes even have Velcro on them, like
yes.
the cloth. They're like the disposable diapers, and they hold more than the disposables. They're thicker though, so.
Right.
She said her son is actually in like 9-month clothing. That's his actual size, but with the cloth diaper on, she has to bump up to the next size. So just in the
because
pants,
it retains more and stuff like that.
Just so because they're so thick, it's hard to get it. But she said that if she's going out short distances, or at home, out no more than like an hour and a half, she'll keep them in cloth diapers. But if it's going to be an extended,
like a full day,
she'll actually put him in a disposable diaper just
because she can throw it away. It's
easier.
because
she can throw it away. If not, if he soils the cloth diaper, let's say he's got explosive diarrhea and you need to change that diaper and you have one spare and then he gets it again, you're in trouble. So, and then you have to carry around with you a... Right.
I knew this was coming.
Anyway. But she says that they're great, and he's not had any diaper issues. Well, I thought, that's a great idea. So if I ever have children, I'm going to want to do that.
Well, you mean...
Remind me of that when I start to have kids.
Okay, very good. We'll keep that right. I'll put that right over here.
Okay.
And so we don't want to miss that. And especially the thing about the explosive diarrhea and all those really other important things.
I'll tell you, my sister would feed my nephew something funny. I would go to watch him, and she would give me... I'd watch him for 2 hours, and she'd give me 5 diapers, and I'd be like, I'm going to need more than that. And she's like, I don't know why. And so she'd give me 10 diapers. In 2 hours, I can go through all 10 diapers, because she would feed him something
that would cause him
that would cause it. I was like, you're so mean.
Well, you got to tell her that if you want me to take care of the kid, they'll be feeding him that stuff.
I swear she did.
Now,
I stopped after a while. I couldn't do it no more.
In chemotherapy, you go, I'm in the regimen, and you most of you know this already. The regimen that I'm on, it's 6-2, 6-2, 6-2. I'm in the final 6. But you get different mixtures. That's why they call them cocktails. And in week 1, 3, and 5, we're in week 3, cold mucous membranes is affected. And on week 2, 4, and 6, it's that other stuff.
Aww.
That's what makes me think about it, explosive time. Okay.
Anyway.
Well, okay, so we'll tag into this. Listen, this is what happened. This is an email that we got from either my aunt or somebody else. My aunt is
forwarder.
Is a trusted and blessed conservative, and we have a great and strong relationship, and understand that most of the problems in America today begin with the word Obama. Okay.
No politics.
No politics. Okay, but she sent me this email, and it's not political, which is why we're doing it. And we started last week, but I talked too much and we couldn't get it finished. Checking out, and this is where it starts. Checking out at the store, the young cashier suggested to the older woman that she should bring her own grocery bags because plastic bags weren't good for the environment. And as I told you last week, and I will underscore again this week, if you use reusable bags, wash them. The woman apologized and explained, we didn't have this green thing back in my day. The clerk responded, that's our problem today. Your generation did not care enough to save our environment for future generations. And that's a lot of garbage. She was right. Our generation didn't have the green thing. And let me say that when the EPA started and all those other things, it was really important for us. Because if you look around, listen, I'm 40 years old. I remember when places used to be littered. But they're not littered now. We've made progress. We've done great things. And organizations like the EPA and the FDA, and people like that, when they started, they did very good things, and they raised everybody's consciousness because they educated people. They didn't come in and strong-arm everybody. Now, these agencies are completely and totally out of control, and they are no longer rooting for the American system, and that's not good. Okay? So now, and why do we talk about diapers? This is why. Back then, This is the lady answering the clerk at the store. Back then, we washed the baby's diapers because we didn't have throwaway kind. We dried clothes on a line. Got that beautiful scent. Not in an energy-gobbling machine burning up 220 volts. Wind and solar power really, isn't that funny? I never thought of it that way, but that's the truth. Wind and solar power really did dry our clothes back in our early days. Kids got hand-me-down clothes from their brothers or sisters, not always brand new clothing. But that young lady is right. We didn't have that green thing back in our day. And that's
I
really...
always felt bad, now that I read that, I feel bad for my younger sisters because I always got the brand new clothes. And they always got the hand-me-downs.
But the bottom line is, the clothes were probably still good, and there was no reason not to use them. And
That's true.
we're so wrapped up in this instant gratification society, and we're so wrapped up in the fact that everybody has... You know what?
Why?
America was designed on a constitution that said equal opportunity. There's nowhere in there where it says equal outcome. And if this was Thanksgiving, I would tell you the Thanksgiving story. But in a nutshell, before we go back to this, the reason we celebrate Thanksgiving is not just because things were nice and groovy with the Indians. The reason we celebrate Thanksgiving is because when they originally landed, they lived in a commune setting where everybody worked the same and everybody shared the same and nobody had their own private holdings. Everything was... And after a while, some of those people, well, they didn't work as hard as the other people, but they still got the same. And then those people that started working hard started to realize, well, why should I work hard? I don't get... He gets the same thing as I get, whether I work hard or not, so I'm not going to do it either. And they got in real trouble. And they didn't have enough to give around. And they didn't have enough to share. And that's why they started having problems. Well, the next year, the guy changed the rules, and he said, everybody has private property. What you grow, you can sell. If you have more than you need, you can sell it. Or, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. And that year, they had so much stuff, they had Thanksgiving, because they had such an abundance, because people got the benefit of their labors. America has always been a great country because it celebrated the individual. It allowed that person that had an idea to follow that idea to where it went. It turned each individual free to pursue their own ideas, not just to have us all lockstep and march, just like the race baiters that need a job so they won't admit the fact that in 60 years things have gotten a lot better. Here we go. Green time. Thank you. Not to Ray Line. I'm coming. She's just so vicious. Back then, I couldn't live like this. Okay, here I go. Back then, we had one TV or radio in the house, and not a TV in every room. We don't hear. We just have one big TV. And the TV had a small screen. It was like really small, the size of a handkerchief. Remember them? Not a screen the size of the state of Montana. How did they survive? In the kitchen, we blended and stirred by hand because we didn't have electric machines to do everything for us. When we packaged a fragile item to send in the mail, we used wadded-up old newspapers to cushion it, not styrofoam or plastic bubble wrap. Back then, we didn't fire up an engine and burn gasoline just to cut the lawn. We used a push mower that ran on human power. We exercised by working, so we didn't need to go to the health club to run on treadmills that operate on electricity. But she's right. We didn't have that green thing back then.
All right, so
There you go.
when I was younger, and we had 2 TVs in the house.
Okay.
But one was a small black and white TV that had the screen the size of a handkerchief, and it was in the kitchen.
Right.
And that's what my mom would watch in the morning while she was making our breakfast
prepare
and
for you
making our
guys.
lunches,
Right.
and so she can see what the weather was. And so I remember, we come out, but the other thing is the TV the big TV.
The formal TV, right.
Was when Dad was home, it was ever he wanted to watch. So
Right.
if we wanted to watch something else, we had to go
You
sit
in the kitchen.
and watch the black and
Watch it
white
on the
TV.
little one.
Yeah, but we didn't have cable either.
No,
for
just
years.
You
Yeah,
had
you
antennas.
antennas.
Did you get many stations?
No,
Okay,
No.
that used to happen a lot.
but
sorry.
it was really cool. And then let me talk about something else in there. I don't have a lot of electric appliances, so I have to do everything by hand anyway.
You
So
have
I've got
6 cats. You're unusual.
But when I talk about recycling newspapers, I actually was started to pack up. There's some valuable things that were just lying around that were my homeowners, and I just wanted to get them out of the way because the cats kept
Playing
playing
with them.
with
Sure,
them.
sure,
So
right.
So I packed them up, and I had gotten a box in the mail from a company that was filled with those packing peanuts. So I reused those packing peanuts, and then
Right.
when I ran out of those, I started to use the newspapers. I was pretty proud of myself.
And you know the coolest
Yeah.
thing about using newspapers?
What?
If you pack stuff away for a long time, when you open it up, it's really cool.
Yeah.
To look
You're
at
like,
the
oh,
newspaper.
this is what happened back in
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know. I never mowed the lawn when
You're a girl.
No. Listen, I never mowed the lawn with a push mower when I lived in Chicago.
Right.
But when we moved out to the middle of nowhere on 5 acres of land,
Right.
that was as soon as we could reach the pedals on the.
Oh, you sit
the
down.
rider,
You got to sit down and ride
yeah,
it. Whoa.
on 5 acres of land, you can't
Well,
push
of
that
course
thing.
not. Of course not.
But yeah, as soon as we can reach the pedals,
Right.
let's learn how to use a lawnmower.
I never
And I
had.
didn't have to. I stopped mowing the lawn when I moved out of the house.
I never had a sit-around motor until I was down here in this area. Always at the house, I had a push mower. You know, because you got to realize, you know, I grew up in the 50s and 60s, you know, and 70s, and you know, things were really different, you know, back then. So I used a push mower, and you know, it's so funny when you're young. Time is different, size is different because everything is in ratio. Before, you know. And when I think about when I used to have to cut the grass when I was young, the yard was so big. And then as I got older, the yard
gets
wasn't so
smaller,
big.
yeah.
Yeah, it gets smaller and smaller.
I actually wanted to get a you know those. It's a push mower thing that's got the blades on it. That
Right.
I wanted one of those. You know
Right.
that you see in the cartoons, and I know
Right.
that. But you can't use them down here.
Oh,
they
why
don't
not?
recommend it because the ground is
Too sandy?
yeah, the ground is too sandy.
Oh, it could be throwing up rocks and stuff.
And you're not gonna get the blades.
Yeah, it dulls the blades.
It dulls the blades, so they. Said
But
that
it
you
dulls
can't
them
use
all,
it.
even the circular ones that you go and you
Right,
gotta have
but
them
on the
sharpened.
circular ones, the way that they're set,
Right.
it takes a little bit longer
Longer.
to dull than the ones that are actually rotating and hitting the ground.
Well, I'm
Or
an
have
apartment
one
dweller
chance,
right now,
yeah.
so I don't know. On our poor viewers in New York City, no idea what we're talking. Go to Central Park; they have grass there. You'll know what we're talking about. Okay.
That's true.
Here we go. We drank from a fountain when we were thirsty instead of using a cup or plastic bottle every time we needed a drink of water. We refilled writing pens with ink instead of buying a new one. And we replaced the razor blades in a razor instead of throwing away the whole razor just because the blade got dull. But we didn't have the green thing back then.
The only one I don't know about is refilling the ink. Like, are you
Fountain
talking
pens,
about,
I
like,
would know about that.
I
Come
have-
on, they were almost
But
gone
I
when I
have
was
a
young.
fountain pen.
Yeah, and they write cool.
But I have a fountain pen, but I don't know what to do with it because I don't have an ink
Yeah,
well for it.
Yeah, you go and you buy it. They
yeah, I'm
have
just
liquid
kinda like-
ink, and
And
then
it was
you,
sent to me from China, so
you
I'm
put
kind
it
of
in
like,
there and
I
you
don't know what I'm doing with
pull
this.
the little thing up, and it sucks the stuff. It's like a cartridge pen, but you refill it.
Yeah, I need like lessons, ink pens for dummies.
Hey,
But it's made out of ceramic. I also
Oh.
have it's really nice, and I also have a ceramic thumb drive that goes with it.
really?
It's really pretty.
Oh,
yeah.
that's pretty. I bet.
Yeah, so I'm kind of even though I'm like I'm not even sure I want to
Open.
use
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I know. I
Use it.
understand.
Like I've opened it up and I've taken it out and I looked at it and I'm like, oh, this is really pretty, and then I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do with this. Put it back in the box was a
Well,
box. So.
okay. Let me see. Back then, people took the streetcar or a bus, and kids rode their bikes to school or walked instead of turning their moms into a 24-hour taxi service. We had one electrical outlet in a room. How can you survive? We had
We
one
never had
electrical
that.
outlet in a room, not an entire bank of sockets to power a dozen appliances. And we didn't need a computerized gadget to receive a signal beamed from satellites 2,000 miles out in space in order to find the nearest burger joint. But isn't it sad the current generation laments how wasteful we old folks were just because we didn't have the green thing back then. And that is a judgment that they should not make, and that's really true, folks.
I would ride my bike,
Right?
but never anywhere.
Long distance.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't ride it anywhere except like on the dirt road that we lived off of when I
Okay.
was younger. Because if you took it on the main road, you get hit by the semis.
Oh, okay. It was a big road.
It was just we had the interstates.
Right.
Think of it like we have 3 parallel lines.
Mhm.
Okay, we had a state highway.
Right.
We had the interstate,
Right.
and then we had like the
Regular road.
a regular
Local
like
route.
a local highway. Like you
Okay.
had the interstate highway, which was like those US
Yeah,
45s.
right. Yeah.
Then we had the interstate, like
I-4 or whatever.
I-57, and then we
I-95.
had the state road, which was like Route 50 or something
Right.
like that. So
or
we had
usually
those.
3 digits.
Yeah.
Oh
So
no.
we had-
250.
Yeah, so we had those 3 roads.
Right.
So the semis, and then we had all these little towns squirted, between these parallel roads.
Right.
So if the semi had to go to one town,
Right.
they would go down there and then just drop
And
down,
just stay on it.
stay on that road,
Right.
and then cut across to get to the next spot. And
Right.
but when they would drive on these small country roads,
They drive the same way.
they just drive fast. Yeah, because they need to get to their location. So you couldn't go anywhere
Out west, when
without a car.
my folks took my mom and dad took me to Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
I know there was a lot of states in the middle, but I was going to
Yeah, it
Disneyland.
didn't matter.
These were just places you went through to get to Disneyland. Okay, and I remember that the coolest speed limit sign I saw was reasonable and seasonable. Wow,
That's
you know what I mean?
awesome.
If I could, one thing I really have to say about the roads. When you go down to Disney World in Florida, you get to ride on Florida's highways. And let me tell you something. The Florida highway people, they would at first have those little divots in the road, little reflectors, and the rumble strips on the side. And you know what else they have? And I talk about this every once in a while. This is like a New Yorker's dream when you get down to Florida. They have tolls that go over the road. You don't even have to slow down. If you need change or you have to pay, you got to go over here and stop and do that thing. Otherwise, bang, zoom, right down the road. It takes the money.
The
It
other
says,
thing
I love
that
it.
Florida does well on their highways and roads is they label everything.
Right.
They tell, like, if you pay attention to where you're driving,
You can get there.
you can get there.
Right.
But if you're like looking at something over here and then wait, and then you have to cross over 5 lanes, that annoys the crap out of me.
Right.
When the tourists are driving, I'm like, how can you not look at the roads that's in front of you?
Because
and
they're
watch the signs?
tourists.
Oh, it annoys me.
They're
anyway,
looking around.
back to this.
Yes.
Um,
We have 2 minutes.
my mother was a 24-hour taxi until I turned 16, and then I became the 24-hour taxi.
Okay, that's good. You shared the responsibility. Made it easier for her.
And then we never had only one electrical outlet in our room because my dad was an electrician.
Okay.
So that fixed that.
And my dad built our house.
Mine did too.
Built the house.
Well,
And he was working for Long
I don't
Island
know if
Light
he
at the
built
time.
it,
So we
but-
had a couple of outlets in every room. Now, you've got an outlet on every
he
corner.
was the general contractor when my dad was the general contractor on the house that my parents live in now. He did all the electrical work in it, which is okay, saved us some money, but my mom always says that I'm really glad that your father was never a plumber because our toilets would never work, but the lights would. Because that's kind of with my dad. You walk into a room and you flip on a light switch, and sometimes the lights go on and sometimes they don't. Because
Right.
he would go and work at his actual electrical job, and
Right.
then after work, travel from the city of Chicago, 45 miles south,
Oh.
and do electrical work on the house, and then have to go travel back home into Chicago where we lived at the time.
Oh, that's tough.
So
That's
yeah,
tough. That's
so
tough.
so we were always glad that
Isn't
he was
that
an electrician.
dedication?
Yeah, we were glad he was an electrician because, it didn't really matter if the lights went on or off as long as our toilets still flushed. I love you, Daddy.
I was going to say.
He's not here, but.
But the idea is and what a demonstration of dedication that was. When I think of, I had great parents. I was an only adopted child of a mom and dad who had 5 stillborn births. So
Wow.
you don't want to talk about was I wanted.
Right.
If you know what I'm saying. Okay. I was 50 before I found out I had been spoiled. Okay. I thought this was how life was. You know what I mean? For everybody.
You still think that's important.
But probably. But just being honest. Okay, now we don't want to lose sight. The show, the 4th of July celebration. You're going to go out. If those of you that are watching us in New York City on the 4th of July at 4:00, it's almost 4:30, and you're going to go out there, and hopefully you're going to be safe tonight.
Be safe.
And if you're watching
drink
us
and
on
drive.
YouTube, you don't have to.
Don't drink and shoot fireworks out of your butt.
That's true.
And go
That
volunteer
last
at your
one
local.
is very.
Yeah, go volunteer at your local animal shelter.
Okay, so now, this song is called Disney Dreams. This is a modified, just slightly modified version because listen, everybody talks about the magic of Walt Disney World. Let me tell you what the magic of Walt Disney World is. It is the last, what scene? What? It's the last scene in this film. Okay? Okay? Because, and it was made possible by two very gifted people. One, the cameraman that was taking the picture and didn't believe in instant gratification and stayed on it and stayed on it and stayed on it till it happened. And Mickey, who stayed on this child and stayed on this child until this child knew he was just a normal little kid in a normal little world.
Have a safe happy 4th of July.
That's
everybody.
right. Don't drink and drive.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Look out across America.